I saw The Conjuring 2 the other night, and I wasn't going to make a video on it, but I've seen some of the other reviews come in, and I just had to get my 2 cents in. Plus, I'm about to hit 500 subscribers, and I think I'd like to do a giveaway. Coming up next on the Batcave. Hi guys, welcome to the Batcave. I'm your host, Lady Hellbat, and as I mentioned in the intro, I wasn't going to do a video on The Conjuring 2, but I wanted something out there to kind of counterbalance the rave reviews that I've been seeing. I think it's a very commercial film. I think it's going to do very well at the box office, but the reviews haven't really tackled stuff that I found in the film, so I wanted to get that in there. And I'm not going to be giving away any spoilers, but it's going to be a bit of an analysis style review, so I think you'll get more out of it if you have seen the film. So The Conjuring 2 is the sequel to The Conjuring, which came out in 2013 and was directed by James Wan, who made a name for himself in creating the Saw franchise with Leigh Whannell back in 2004. The film was a huge box office hit and remains one of the best grossing horror films of all time. Let that sink in for a minute. There was also a spin-off called Annabelle, which came out the following year, but James Wan didn't actually have anything to do with it creatively. It was pretty transparently a cash grab, and cash grab it did. It made a lot of money, even though the critics weren't very fond of it. Which brings us to The Conjuring 2. Now, The Conjuring 2 brings back Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they're just coming off the Amityville horror case, which took a lot out of Lorraine. You know, they're really famous now. They're doing all these talk shows where people are accusing them of being crooks, so they decide to take a break. That is, until the church summons them to tackle a case in Enfield, England. The disturbances in Enfield have to do with the Hodgson family. It's a single mother with 4 kids, and the youngest daughter is being particularly afflicted by the paranormal activity. She's occasionally getting possessed by an old man who lived in the house before them. So Ed and Lorraine Warren come out of semi-retirement to take on the haunting, but they soon realize that the paranormal activity is a lot more personal to them than they had realized. Now, as I mentioned before, people are loving The Conjuring 2. If you like jump scares, James Wan is the man. James Wan wants to scare the shit out of you. In fact, I think that's his full name. James wants to scare the shit out of you. When it comes to jump scares, he is the undisputed master. He has a really good grasp on suspense. He knows how to use very simple camera techniques to creep and unsettle you. The first act of the film is relentless with jump scares, and as much as I don't like them, I have to admit that most of them were really well done. He also shows off some really great camera work in the film. There's a lot of beautiful tracking shots with interesting time lapse. There's a lot of special effects that he pulls off very well. James Wan is a super talented guy, and the film does showcase his talent. However, I had some problems with some of the themes and the tone of the film that I haven't really seen reflected in the reviews that I'd like to bring up. So my first issue with The Conjuring 2 is I felt like it missed out on some big opportunities in the film that it just touched on and then really backed away from. For example, I mentioned in the synopsis that Ed and Lorraine Warren are going on talk shows where they're being accused of being frauds. And, you know, you've got Ed getting all defensive, and there's some academic egghead calling him a crook, and he's like, well, what do you have a PhD in exactly? And they have a bit of a back and forth before it cuts to Ed and Lorraine after the show, and they're just so frustrated that nobody believes in them and what they're trying to do. And I think for a film that is such a stretch, like this film wants to be based on a true story, but it's totally outrageous from the source material. If we are to believe in Ed and Lorraine Warren, I kind of wish they would let us see some of that engagement, see them engage with their fame and allegations of fraud, make us kind of believe in them a little bit. I feel like the film approached this and then backed away from it too quickly, and I was really disappointed. Along the same lines, the first couple of instances of the haunting that we see them through the eyes of the children. We see them through a perspective of people who are frightened and sleepy and sleep deprived, and as such we have some unreliable narrators. Maybe Janet's schizophrenic, maybe everything is all a dream, maybe we're going to watch this movie and it'll be up to the audience whether or not it really happened. But then it just kind of goes over the top, and that layer of disbelief is kind of taken away from us. I felt like that was another missed opportunity for audiences to really get engaged. The movie takes a really specific stance that this is all actually happening, and if you don't believe the Warrens, it's because you have no heart and you don't believe what this family is going through, and I just thought that was a bit too corny. My final gripe with the film is that it is cheesy as fuck. You've got this poor Cockney woman raising 4 kids after her husband runs off, like the house is in shambles, everything's breaking, and they're poor, and now they've got a fucking poltergeist. Enter Ed and Lorraine Warren, and what do? The first thing they do is they tell this family that they've got to stick together, because if there's one thing demons don't like, it's family love, and they have to support one another, and blah, blah, blah. Like, come on. But what really pissed me off was a really strong implication that all this broken home needed was a father figure. You've got Ed Warren storming in to save the day, and like the first thing he does is he starts repairing everything. He starts fixing stuff, and then he learns that the deadbeat dad who left the family took all of their records, so he actually serenades them with a guitar. I shit you not, they have a sing-along Elvis song in the living room. I'm not even joking. It was so ridiculously cheesy that I felt like I was watching an especially scary episode of a family sitcom. It was like a poltergeist visited the Tanners at Full House and Uncle Jesse is playing the fucking guitar. Anyway, I'm not trying to shit all over a movie that people are really enjoying. It's just that I haven't seen these critiques in any of the reviews that I've read thus far, and I'd be remiss if that wasn't out there in the world in some form or another. Overall, I felt like The Conjuring 2 really played it safe, and I think after movies have come out like It Follows and The Witch, I feel like horror audiences are really ready for filmmakers to push the envelope a little bit, and it's kind of a bummer to see someone as talented as James Wan wasted on such a sappy family love story. But all that said, if you like jump scares and you like them with fromage, then you will enjoy this movie and pair it with a nice wine. So that's my review/analysis of The Conjuring 2. I hope I didn't rain on your parade if you loved the movie. I hope I didn't wreck your day if you were looking forward to it. You'll still have tons of fun. But I do have some good news, and that is that the Batcave is about to reach 500 subscribers, which is tremendous. I'm so blown away because we've only been at this for like, I don't know, 5 months or something. So to celebrate, I want to do a Q&A episode with a giveaway. And what am I going to give away, you ask? Well, here's a hint. That's right, I've got 2 prize packs from none other than Ghoulish Gary Pullen, legendary horror artist and illustrator. He did the H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe artwork up here in the Batcave, and he's given me 2 11x14 prints to give away to 2 lucky subscribers. Now, all you need to do to enter is ask me a question that I can answer in my Q&A episode. Enter your question as a comment below and include either the hashtag Lovecraft or Poe. And if I use your question in the episode, you will be entered to win the print of your choice. Of course, I can't get there until we hit 500, so if you're enjoying the Batcave, do let your friends know and share and spread the word. Don't forget to like and subscribe and enter some questions for me for the Q&A episode, and I'll see you next time.